The Tomb of Annihilation is set in Chult, so I talked to D&D's own lore master about the history of this part of the Forgotten Realms.
A lot of the Forgotten Realms is sort of your standard European fantasy kind of a thing, various flavors of it. One of the jokes that we make about Forgotten Realms is that there's usually 3 versions of something, so there isn't just one fantasy Britain. There are like 3 different versions of fantasy Britain, and someplace in the setting, that kind of a thing. Chult goes in another direction, and it is a sort of lost continent feel, a la City of the Lost or Heart of Darkness, and things like that. Maybe Kong Island even, and of course, it involves a whole lot of dinosaurs. So in addition to being a D&D jungle with all kinds of crazy D&D monsters, there are a whole bunch of dinosaurs in the setting. And its evolution in the setting is sort of typical of a lot of elements of Forgotten Realms, where a bunch of material is written in 2nd edition, and then as the editions move on, it gets sort of backfilled and sort of realigned as more material is written about it in various places. So, for example, how the people of Chult, the humans there, got to be there is a bit more mysterious and legendary in the original product that describes it. And then later products basically give you a whole 30,000-year history of how X, Y, and Z happened in order to get these people from someplace really, really far away, an entirely other continent, onto the sort of what is a peninsula of Chult. And so then there's, Chult is, in the 2nd edition period, is a dinosaur-filled jungle, and it is sort of this forbidding place because there's lots of cliffs around the outside. There's very few places that you can land. It has one major city, which is sort of the holy city of the people there, Mesro, and that city is protected by a group of individuals that have been sort of imbued with power, like paladins, sort of. They're called the Barre. And they're sort of these immortal protectors of the city. And it's also, I think, at that time protected by illusions and stuff like that as well, so you can't necessarily find it easily. And the people of Mesro who aren't in the city, who live in various places all over Chult, have a religion where they have local deities that they worship, but their main deity is Ubtao. And Ubtao is sort of the protector / creator of that city of Mesro. And Ubtao is also the one who led these people across the ocean, thousands of years ago to come to settle Chult, and said, this is your chosen place. And that's the way that it exists in 2nd edition, and the novel happens, and so on and so forth. 3rd edition changes things by, there's a process in the creation of 3rd edition where the map for the Forgotten Realms got kind of cut into bits and restitched together. And so it kind of warped the positioning of Chult and made things look a little different. 4th edition then sort of doubled down on that idea by warping the map even more, and there was the spell plague, and that caused whole continents to disappear, not whole continents, but well, I guess technically Maztica disappeared, but whole continents to disappear, and also chunks of land, and so on and so forth. So Chult went from being a peninsula to becoming an island, and now in 5th edition it is back to being a peninsula and more like its traditional look. From 2nd edition. So Chult, during the period of the spell plague, what was said was that the city of Mesro collapsed and Ubtao abandoned his people. And then sort of a lot of the people who were outside of Mesro just sort of descended into barbarism to a degree. And then in 5th edition, that idea has been sort of embellished with more about what's going on with in the Chult, so that more about why there are undead there and stuff like that, and what's going on there, and then also what's going on with Mesro. And in fact, it wasn't just destroyed; it was hidden by Ubtao, because a lot of the sort of religion of Ubtao is about self-discovery and mazes and stuff like that, and labyrinths, and so. He's kind of hidden it away to protect it from all the weird stuff happening in Chult at the time. So.